Hi guys, welcome back. So I guess we had some connectivity issues and the video was paused for a while. So I've started this live again and I'll just let you know what we'll be painting today. So we'll be painting this salute using acrylic paints. So which paper am I using? I am using a 300 GSM sheet by Menora. This is a 300 GSM sketch pad. And the quality is pretty good. As you can see, the quality of the pages, it's very thick, if you can see here, and it's ideal for all the mediums. You can use gouache or acrylics, anything that you prefer. So today we are painting this, and I am going to start with the background. So for the background, the colors that I've taken are phthalo blue, because I had this color. You can even use Prussian blue or ultramarine, whatever color. These are all pretty much the same shades, so you can use these colors. So I have added this blue plus black and a small amount of white because we don't want the background to be very dark. So as I mentioned, because we'll be painting this using black, so we don't want the background to be very dark. Otherwise, this won't be visible. The salute won't be visible. So make sure your background is a bit lighter. So let's just start off by mixing the shades. And the thing with acrylic paints is that you do not use water. Like, you can use water, but only a small amount of water is required because acrylics are plastic paints, and if you'll add too much of water, you'll lose the consistency. So make sure your brush is damp, but don't make it too liquidy. Okay, so let's just start with this. Make sure you take the paints in larger amount. Like your brush, dip your brushes fully in the paint, and again, do not use more water, otherwise you'll lose the texture of these paints. So this is, again I'll repeat, this is blue plus white and black. These are the shades that I'm using, and we're going to keep darker at the top layer, and then as we go down further, you can keep on adding white to it. So to the same shade, we'll keep on adding white. And if you think that it's too dark for you, you can add more blue and white. Just make sure, do not make it very dark. As you can see, there's a difference in the color of the upper layer and the bottom layer. And now you can see both the colors are different. So what we're going to do is, we're going to clean our brush and make sure it's not completely dry, but it's damp. And then start blending both the shades. Now you see how you blended both the layers. Okay, we're going to follow the same process as we go down further. You just need to keep adding more white to this shade. Okay, it's Mine Art Gallery saying that it's difficult to blend the colors. So as I already told you, what's the technique to blend the shades. So you don't need lots of paint gets wasted when I try to mix colors. Okay, so make sure you start off with taking a very small amount of colors if you're not sure about the shades. So that's what I do, and if you think that you have not got the right shade, then you can add more color to it. Otherwise, you'll end up wasting the colors. Okay, so I'll be adding more white to it because I guess the background is getting pretty dark. And we don't want it to be dark. Now again, these two shades are completely different. So what we're going to do is, again, we'll use the same technique. clean your brush, or you can clean the same brush, or you can take a separate brush and make sure, dip it in the water and tap it a bit. Now very slowly just try to blend both the layers. Okay, sorry. Is the palette made of resin? Oh, I guess this is plastic glass sort of thing. It's not resin. Instead of water, can we have to mix any acrylic medium? I didn't get your question. I mean, we can use water to with the acrylic paints. And if you think that your layers are getting dried, because that's the thing with acrylic paints, they get dried up very fast. So what you can do is, since I have already these shades, so for the blending part, you can add the same color so that you get the perfect blend. See? And now, are you using sellotape? Yes, I'm using sellotape. So sellotape work pretty well with the menorah sheets. But you can also use masking tapes, whatever you have. Okay, so now for as we go down further, we'll be using more white to it. We'll keep adding more white to it. So why we are adding white to the same shade, so that we get the same shades and we do not have to prepare shade again and again. Okay, let's just add more white to it. Okay, let me just take out some questions. How should we clean the brushes if they dry out? Okay, so there are some few techniques that you can use to clean your brushes, but believe me, once the brush, I mean, as you can see, like some of my brushes, they're getting pretty hard, like this one, as you can see, because I forgot to wash it. So I'm not sure what you can do. You can either dip it in hot water for some time, and then you might be able to get your brushes back. Okay, so let me just complete the background first, because once the paint gets dried up, I won't be able to blend these layers. Okay, so keep adding white, and when you're blending the two layers, you can add the darker color. Now make sure you do not use much water for the blending part, otherwise you lose the consistency of the colors, because these are plastic paints and not much water is required with them. Okay, I guess we need to add more color here. Now I'm using a damp brush here. Keep in kerosene so brushes will be softer. Okay, you can try this. I haven't tried this, so I can't say about this, but sure. Now again the same technique. Keep adding on white. bottom layer, as you can see, there's a bit yellow tinge here. So what we'll be doing is, we'll apply some yellow shade over the lower layer, and then for blending both the shades, we'll be adding white. So I'll show you how. And even for the yellow, you're going to take a very small amount. Otherwise, blue and yellow will turn into green shade, which we do not want. So make sure you're using a very small amount of yellow. And you can use a separate brush for applying the yellow color, so that again it doesn't mix with the blue color and turn into green. Okay, so we'll be applying a small amount of yellow here, and we'll leave a bit space between both these layers so that we can blend them using the white shade. Now take small amount of white. Okay, I should have cleaned my brush first before applying white, but never mind. Now we'll be blending the blue and yellow color using a white shade. And don't worry, we'll get the blend here. If you think it's getting more yellowish here, so since we already have these shades, so we need to add more white for this blue shade. There you go. We'll be using again the same technique for the blends. You can either add more white to it or just take a damp brush and keep blending. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and ask. Okay, I guess we need to just blend this part because it doesn't look good here, so we'll have to blend this as well. So we just wanted a yellow tinge here. We do not actually wanted the yellow shade. Do fast. I am trying. Well, it's painting. I cannot just do this and finish it off. So I guess we are done with the blending. Now we are gonna apply this black layer over here. So as I said, the yellow part will get covered with black because we just needed the yellow tinge and we didn't need the actual yellow color. What's the minimum GSM paper that we can use for acrylics? Well, I have tried acrylics on 180 GSM as well. So I guess 180 GSM is also good. I am using acrylic paints by Montmartre. Okay. So let's just do the black part now. For this black part, I'll be using a flat brush So I'll be doing the lower layer now, the black one. Let me take out my brush first. Okay, so what you're gonna do is just go ahead and apply this black layer over here. Till here. That is it. Once we are done with this black layer, what we're going to do is we need to make this plant and bush sort of thing. So here's the thing that I do with this. So I have a brush, which again the bristles are like, as you can see, it's kind of ruined. So but I've not ruined this brush because now see, the simplest technique, just dip your brush like this. And since all the bristles are very pointed, so we'll be just tapping this brush like this and you'll get the leafy bushy effect. Which shade did I use for background? So I've used blue plus black and white. Like the color will look sort of this, and as we go down further, I've just kept on adding white to it. So let's just add some more bushes over here. This is a very simple technique to make bushes. It's simple and fast. And sort of looks like trees. Not trees, leaves. Okay. So we are done with the background, like the first layer. Now, as you can see, it looks pretty much the same, right? What kind of brush? I've used normal brushes. You can DM me for that. I'll let you know what brushes am I using. Now, so we're done with the background and this bottom layer. Now, since the background is almost dried, that is the beauty of acrylic paints. It gets dried up pretty fast. Okay, so now we're gonna add some clouds over here. So for the clouds, I'll be using, since you can see that there's some dark layer over the upper layer and then there's orange and yellow. So that's the colors that I'll be using for making the clouds. So for this, again, I'll be using the brushes that have gone hard and that doesn't really work well. So all those brushes that are ruined, just don't throw them. You can put them to use. Now I'll show you how. So since this is a pretty darker layer and we're going to add some clouds over here using the dark color that we made at the beginning. Okay, so let's add some clouds to it. Take a flat brush and then, or you can also use round brushes for this. I'm using flat brush. And you can just add clouds like this. Just randomly, wherever you feel like, you can add these clouds. Just randomly go ahead and tap your brushes. That's how I like to make. Hello? Am I audible, guys? Okay, so what I do is I dip my paint brush into the paint and then I remove the excess paint and then I go ahead and make my clouds. So that it gives a little bouncy effect to the clouds. Let me add some more clouds over here. And we can add some more over here. Again, you can use round brushes as well for this. I like to use flat brushes. And don't worry, we'll be adding orange to the clouds at the bottom. Okay, there's no point of adding the same colored clouds at the top layer because again it won't be visible over there. Okay, guess we're done with this shade. The next shade we'll be taking is orange and white. So let me take out my colors. A very small amount of orange so that you don't end up wasting your colors. Take a very small amount of orange and a small amount of white. Okay, so take orange and white and just take off the extra paint. And go ahead with the same technique that we used earlier for making the clouds. Orange, white, take off the extra paint. Is this black color? No, for the clouds, this isn't black color. This is the topmost layer that we prepared during the beginning. It's again, don't use black, it won't look good. Like, you can add a bit blue to it, blue and white. We wanted the upper layer to be darker for the clouds as well. Here the clouds are getting a bit lighter, so what you can do is add some more orange to it at the upper layer and then take some white. It will give a good effect. I'm going to use the same technique for the clouds at the bottom layer. And take more white and add it over here. I guess that'll be enough. Let's just add one more cloud. We'll be needing more white. If you think that the colors are not blended, so again you can take a damp brush and just apply it over the colors. That is it. Since there's no definite shape for the cloud, so you can make any shape that you want. Don't worry too much about the clouds. So we are pretty much done with the background. Only the last part is left. That is, we're going to make these figures, these two figures. Now you can either sketch it first using the pencil, or if you're pretty confident, then you can directly paint using you can directly paint it. But I'll be sketching first. So let me make a sketch using the pencil, and then the last part will be. So let's just give it a minute for these clouds to get dry, because we do not want to smudge the colors. So till then, if you guys have any questions, you can go ahead and ask. Otherwise, we'll have to just wait. I am using acrylic paints. Can you make a video on portrait with watercolor? Well, I'm sorry, I do not use watercolors. I use acrylics and gouache. So I've done some portraits using gouache and acrylics as well. You can check out on my page. Minimize. Okay. How can... Okay. So I'm just going through the questions. Is anyone painting alongside? If so, can you please raise your hands? Please tell on a separate sheet how you make bushes. Okay, let me show you again how I've made these bushes. So I had this brush. So this is a very simple technique. If you must have some brushes that have already ruined and have this spiky like texture, and you think it's ruined, so do not throw these brushes, because as you can see the bristles here. So what I did was I dipped this brush into the black paint just like this, and I didn't dip the entire brush, but what I did was I just dipped the tips, and then I'm gonna show this on a different sheet of paper. Do I have another sheet? Yeah. Okay, so what I did was dip these tips into the color and just tap like this. See, that's how you get your bushes. You get a leafy sort of texture, and you don't have to actually make the leaves. Or otherwise, what you can do is, if you do not have such brushes, just take a small like fine liner brush or a zero size brush, and you can just do like this. Make small strokes like this. Pretty much the same effect. That's why I like using this, because it's a very fast technique. You can just go ahead, dip your tips, and then do it like this, and you'll get the texture. I hope it was helpful. Okay, so the clouds are, yeah, it's dried up. We can go ahead and sketch our figures. So let me just sketch it first. Just make a very light sketch. So in case there's some mistake, you can rub it off. Do not press the pencil very light, like do not press the pencil onto the sheet. Okay, so I'll be sketching the girl first. Okay, let's That is it. Okay, almost done with the girl. Now I'll be sketching the boy. Okay. You can keep on asking questions or any doubts related to the acrylic paints. Till then, I'll just go ahead and complete the sketch first. And the painting is almost done, only the last part is left. That is painting the figures. Okay, so what I made a small mistake here is that I started off painting the figures on too much here. So you can just slightly move here. I'm not going to sketch again because I'm almost done. Okay. So we're almost done with the boy is done as well. So only the last part is left and then we'll be done with the painting. So you need to take a round brush for this. You can take either a 0 or 1 size brush for this one, for completing this layer. Okay. Gouache and acrylics work same or different? No, they are pretty different. Pretty much different. Acrylics are like plastic paints, whereas gouache is more of like watercolors, where you can use water for blending, and like acrylics, if you even add water on this, nothing will happen to these acrylic colors, because once they get dried up, you can't do anything to them. You cannot even blend them. Even the texture is pretty much different for acrylics and gouache. Acrylic has sort of, glossy finish, I would say. Whereas gouache has more of matte finish. Okay, for the salutes, I like to paint the outer, like the borders first, so that I can easily paint inside once I'm done with this. I'm gonna leave some, I'm gonna sketch the hair, like paint the hair at the end. Okay. You can keep on posting your questions. I'm not looking at the phone right now, so I'll answer all the questions after I'm done with painting these figures.
चल रहा है दीदी का चल रहा है अच्छा सॉरी
So this is just the last layer.
चल रहा है इंस्टाग्राम
So I like to do the borders first. Okay, I guess I've made the part very curvy, but who cares? We can give a man a round curvy butt. Okay, same with the girl. So it's basically a girl and boy dancing together. That's what I titled my painting also, Dancing in the Dark. Okay. Yeah, now we can just go ahead and paint. Then inside this, you can even take a bigger brush for painting this part, but I'll be using the same. Okay, the part looks a bit bigger here, so okay, man is done. Now we're going to paint a girl. Oops. We'll see if we can do anything about this here. But never mind. Again, this is just the last layer and we are almost done with our painting. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to use a different brush for painting the hair. We're just going to make some random strokes. Like this. And over some over here. Just make sure don't make them too pointy, otherwise the hair will look very rough. It's like the hair is floating in the air. And that is it. We are pretty much done with the painting. Let's just wait for this black layer to get dried up, and then we'll do the most exciting part, that is the tape peel off. So this was the original painting and we have recreated it using acrylics. I'm just waiting for these layers to get dried up and then we can remove the tape and we are done with this. So do you have any doubts? You made it beautifully. Thank you so much. Thank you, Megha. Let me know if you have any doubts related to this painting or acrylics in general or any other medium. Okay. Well, thank you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Unique Mandala. Thank you so much. So it's almost dried up. Let me just take off this tape, and as you can see, the tape comes off very easily and it doesn't ruin the paper. So that's the beauty of Minora sheets. And if you think that your tape is too adhesive, then what you can do is, so before applying this tape onto the paper, you can just put it on the table first so that its adhesiveness comes off. You can even use masking tape for this. You see how these borders have come out pretty neatly. Okay, the last layer. That's it. So again, I'll be showing you. This was the original painting and we have recreated it. How do I show both of them? Let me see. Now you will be able to see both of them. Thank you, Red Swan. Thank you so much. Love painting along with you. Oh, you guys were painting along with me. Yeah, please do post it and tag me so that I can have a look. How many of you painted along with me, may I know? And if you did, and if you want to post, please do tag me. My account name is Vital Arts. Okay, is there an option where I can pin the comment? Let me just pin it. Anyone else can help me like how to pin a comment? Oh, got it. pinned my IG page name if anyone wants to check out. Okay. Now, oh, you also painted along with me. That's great. Original one is more beautiful. Well, of course, because this one I created on live and it's not very easy to create when lots of people are watching you. I like painting alone. Okay, so now that we are done with this painting, let's have a quick look at the Menora sketchbooks that I've used. So this one is 180 GSM sketchpad. As many of you were asking, what's the minimum GSM we can use for acrylic paints? This is 180 GSM, and all the paintings that I've done here mostly are acrylics. So let me just do a quick go through. So if you guys follow me, you must have seen my Inktober posts. These are some of the posts that I made using acrylics. And as you can see, the texture of these pages is pretty much ideal for acrylic paints. These are some of the paintings that I've done on these sketchbooks. And let me show you some that I've done using gouache. First, let's take a quick look at this sketchbook. Again, this is 180 GSM journal. It's a hard bounded. It's very difficult to recreate our own painting. Yes, it is. Because sometimes you even don't know what techniques you used. So as I said, this was the original painting. And I've done some other silhouettes as well. Here. This. Okay, so this was the 180 GSM sketchbook. Now we have the page that I used today was from this sketchbook. It's 300 GSM, made of 100% cotton paper, and they're 100% vegan, so environmental friendly. And now this is the first painting that I did using gouache, and I used lots and lots of amount of water for the background. As you can see, the texture and the page, as you can see, is still intact. That's the beauty of these pages. Again, this is gouache, acrylics. So this is gouache as well. Again, these are some of the Inktober posts that I did. That is pretty much it. And once this page gets dried up, I'm going to add this into the sketchbook. So that is all. And let me know if you have any questions or doubts, else we'll just wrap it up here. So for all those who have joined right now, this is the painting that we have created in this live session using acrylic paints. Well, thank you, Dolly. Thank you so much. Alright then. Want more and more painting like this? Well, you can check out more and more paintings on my page. And let me tell you again, I am very close to completing 10K followers. So please go and follow me if you still haven't. Thanks, Abhishek. Thank you so much. Alright then, I'll be wrapping up this session now. So it was nice painting with you, and I'm very glad to know that some of you were painting along. And thank you for joining this live session. And for more paintings, do check out my page. And that'll be all for today. Thank you so much again.